Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm extremely excited to be able to get into this. Just gotten everybody into the server. We're now set ourselves up for the swapping of sides. Of course, this is just the first map in this best of 3. This is the MDL relegations. The upper bracket quarterfinals as well. London overcoming their previous opponent, Ex-Fragsters. Were waiting for them to win that matchup. Either them or the Copenhagen Flames, and London had faced them and had issues in the past, but this time we're able to get to this point. Of course, this being London's pick, Ex-Fragsters had the freedom of choice as to which side they start, so they will go for that CT side start. Ex-Fragsters already with a bit of aggression over towards the underpass. I think they're going to pull the trigger, and London Esports are in a great position to actually be able to deal with this. I think the problem will be that when this execute does come out, they'll spot that player in towards CT. Will they expect the 3 players coming in from connector so rapidly from Fragsters? The gap in the smoke that they're trying to exploit. Goldsmeden gets the first kill. Jumping through the smoke. Nodios, a huge play. A bit ballsy, in fact, as well, but only the 1 kill. Could have potentially found more. Link pulling forth a frag as well in towards CT. Goldsmeden, though, so crisp there on the retake. Link now left to do it all in the 1 versus 2. USP in hand, and at least has a decent post-plant to deal with the encroaching Fragsters players. The kit hasn't been recovered by either of these CTs either. Link cannot hit the shot. It's instead RTA to convert. And Fragsters will take the pistol. Something that will be interesting to note in this series is some of the experience that's available for both sides. I don't think that any of the people currently playing for Ex-Fragsters are previously of MDL. I need to check that for lag on the stream. Could be causing that. Bit of frame drops there, brother. Okay, noted. I'll look to amend that as fast as possible. I should be able to adjust that on my end pretty quickly, but do bear with me a moment. Hopefully that stabilizes things a little bit. Of course, in this round, London Esports, because they had gotten that bomb plant down, it wasn't really too much of a contest, just a few upgraded pistols, and they've ultimately not been able to find any picks as a result. Videos should be able to line up this kill momentarily. Mezzy does clear the high angle, but just too low HP to take that engagement. And Ex-Fragsters will keep a nice and clean round going into that second of this first game here in this best of 3. I don't know why I've decided to list every number available given the circumstance, but I've done it anyway. Ex-Fragsters looking to now bring those SMGs forward, the FAMASs as well, see if they can create a bit of a bonus situation where they can upgrade those AKs for free. Goldsmeden spotting these players out top middle initially. Pull back, take Sanctuary. Continuing his aggressive path. He's even trying to spray and pray his way out of there, hoping for a lucky bit of damage or even the kill if he was so fortunate. In this instance, he will not be given anything for his troubles. Control gain for London. They're posturing up for an A-side split, and Link falling in towards the connector and no frag in response there for London. I see Adam will spring into action, take down Goldsmeden towards window, but Han just continuing this push in towards connector. They're showing heavy presence. They're not afraid of London in these engagements, but maybe they should be. Fraser answers back with 2. Torben eventually finished off. And Mezzy is still lying in wait, hoping that his players, his teammates, can get upside the connector so that they can successfully split up towards A. Because of Adam's position, they're actually going to double up instead towards ramp. And Nodios is beginning a rotation. He's reading into this a little bit, moving in towards CT. It seems to be backing away. They seem convinced that this is some sort of a B-side hit, and of course we can see London are progressing onto the site with the bomb. Fraser should be able to dial that in soon enough. Nodios is the only person that can potentially deny the plant here. Will try and take the first fight, try and spam Fraser down, but cannot prevent it. Will be the 2 versus 3 now. Both the players on Fragsters extremely separated. RTA, if he's able to escape from short, that would be a difference maker, but with Nodios being eliminated, this is likely to be a save situation. Just try and do as much damage as possible to the London Esports side. And I think it's safe to say that this round isn't going anywhere. Oh. Okay, that got a little bit awkward. They touch each other in the side, and RTA just a little bit faster on the trigger. Thought for sure Adam might have been able to line up a 3 frags, but at least they keep 2 alive. Not quite enough to keep their economy healthy on that T side, but we'll be certainly happy with the round win. So if any of you are tuning in and did catch the Copenhagen Flames game, I would love to know exactly what happened, because Copenhagen Flames, they would have been happy with that matchup, beating them previously. I imagine these London Esports players pulled something out of the bag. London, heavy presence towards the B apartments. They're trying to contact all the way through. Cray, first one out. He'll take the kill on towards RTA. The flash is good as well. Prevents RTA from noticing the push was coming soon enough. Cray even gets the second kill. Mezzi was the one to fall, but even lurking it by the wayside, Adam has found a kill on the A bomb site. Torben's in a bit of a tough situation now as well. Low HP, and the SMG is still looking for a way in. Hills Medan, though, on this flank with the AWP, not exactly the most effective angle to make this work, but as he's presented the opportunity, Cray to fall, Link be counting his lucky stars that no scope didn't hit, but Torben with such low HP, surely there's no way he wins this. As he drops out of the window, Link finishes off the round. The 2 players with the most experience, really, on the London Esports side. They've been in MDL, they've dropped out of it, but they do deliver. And the second round will be brought forward for London. Ex-Fragsters, of course, losing out on some of their star power, some of their more experienced players. This particular game, swapping out players for a number of different events. He's best to pad the stats off the Eco Frags. Cannot escape with his life, so that's an AP that could be dropped and recovered. It seems like they're completely giving it up. That will give and present an opportunity for Nodios to recover that. Maybe need a rotation if they could towards B, but we'll have to pass Adam, who completely locks in that rotation. Did they decide that they want to actually contest this round? Raven. Nope. Alright. Decided to do some observing myself, and then just looked at the chat while these kills were... I'm a terrible observer. Don't mind me. I at least know what to do when there's one person alive, though. At the very least, that will work in my advantage. And not much hope in doing a lot in this round. I think his best chance is to try and recover that weapon again, but I believe he thinks he has an opportunity. Players aren't quite as close as he anticipated, but Adam drops him like a fly. And the AK in his possession as well. So after winning the pistol and converting the accumulator round to follow, Fragsters have now lost 3 in a row. London on a nice little streak for themselves, and we'll see that there's a shortcoming for Fragsters in this round that they have to try and accommodate. RTA, oh, gets hit by the smoke. That will actually deny the window smoke, I believe, by London, but it also means that he was prevented from making a short jump. Adam, a 1-for-1 exchange in middle, but they come out on top. London are here in heavier numbers. There's no immediate response for Fragsters, no pushes to the extremities of the map. Being down in a position like this where there's so much time available for London, they don't really have a clue as to which of these bomb sites is the end goal. Be increasingly difficult as time passes. They don't have a lot of utility either to prevent or slow down the push if London do decide to go rapidly towards either of these sites. RTA is still sort of poking and prodding towards middle, but given up the B bomb site as a result. Site is completely open for business here for the London esports players. Now with that alert, Fragsters will realize their mistake. They took a gamble, they tried to make it work while being that man down. That is one of the issues when you lose these players so early and there's no immediate response. I imagine if they were at equal numbers, they would have been happy to sit on the bomb sites and just hope that they as their anchor players could potentially find 1 or 2 kills as they entered the site. But being the full man down, Link surviving still on that 3 HP, then they had to play the round out a little bit differently. London not getting over aggressive. They certainly knew where a couple of those Ex-Fragsters players were saving those weapons, but deciding instead to value their economy moving forward. It will be a 4th converted with 4 players staying alive for that London esports side. And I'm interested to see which of these players on the side of Fragsters decides to pull out the AWP. I know when... I'm pretty sure it's Dragonfly. My knowledge is spotty in itself, but he's a pretty big performer for them when he's able to play. I think one of the issues that they ran into in MDL was consistently sourcing a 5-man roster. Oh my goodness, and just finds the timing, lands the pre-fire as nades ring over towards that A site, just pulls the trigger as he wanted to reposition. Ex-Fragsters, they have the man advantage for now, but Adam jumping on top of heads takes down Ange, pushing forward even further. Goldsmith drops Torben almost to follow. Eventually taken down by Cray. So much damage done to these London players, but just no kills after that initial one. They at least have Nodios on the flank. He can maybe bring things forward. Almost converts on all 3, but it's now just RTA and Adam. Adam's had a huge performance in the round, 3 kills to his name so far. But RTA has every advantage, has the ability to reposition as he has. Alongside the fact that he's so much higher in HP. A headshot is a must for Adam. And RTA is actually given a little bit too much space. I think he may realize that that's the play from Adam. As he heard the digits being dialed in, he heard the sound cue and he'll try and encroach from the B apartments. You go either which way. RTA, it's all about timings. Adam, I think realizing that his behind may be compromised, taking a very passive approach. He's just relying on the fact that RTA is wasting a lot of time clearing out all of these angles. No smoke available either. RTA needs to stick to defuse, and Adam, he'll swing on wide, and he's read it perfectly. Adam, a huge clutch at the end. 4 kills for him in the round. A stellar performance. And although Fragsters almost climbed things back, it was a 2 versus 4 made into the 1-on-1. Nodios with a fantastic flank, and he held the trigger discipline for at least a little bit, just to make sure that he could take down one of those high HP players and try and convert on the damage done by his teammates. The player that got away, Adam, ultimately steals the round from Fragsters. A lot of damage done by Fragsters in this round. London tried to go for heavy mid-pressure, and as a result of getting stuck behind those boxes, they eat nade after nade from the Fragsters lineup. So a good setup here from that CT side. A situation well. Goldsmith just narrowly evading death. As he acting as the antenna for the TV. Tried to move himself over to get better reception. This could get a little bit dicey, I think, for London. The fact that these players are tagged and they're committing towards this B site, they don't have the chance to double back. Fragsters are actually have position in towards ramp as well, so this could certainly prove to be a troublesome affair. RTA gets the first with the headshot. Still playing in towards the site, trying to play as long as possible, running distraction for Nodios. Eventually he will be dealt with, but the response frag is there. Goldsmith on the scout. It's now Cray in the 1 versus 3, and this is the damage adding up in the round. Goldsmith eventually finishes it off, and Ex-Fragsters off the half-bite are able to ring right back with a round against London. And that is certainly a testament to all those nades coming in at the start of the round. Ex-Fragsters from then on played very passive and just tried to rely on those pistols to get opening engagements. And will be lucky that he doesn't get completely bodied with the AWP of Fraser. Down to 16 HP as a result, however. A really slow approach here from London. Passive mid setup, anticipating some sort of a aggressive push from Ex-Fragsters, given the pressure that was received in the previous round. So many nades being expended here for Ex-Fragsters, given the minimal amount of pressure being applied by London. Relegation is still here with the AWP, but he is siphoned off by a smoke. Meanwhile, his teammates are at least setting up for an A-side execute. We, of course, have Cray lurking towards B, but Goldsmith, he's watching the smoke as it fades. Fraser's dropped the Molotov as well, prevents any sort of a trade here from London Esports. Smoke as well. Now you're not quite there. Cray, oh, it's a bit of a messy spray from RTA, but eventually he lands the kill. And because of that Molotov, because of those timings, London are actually backing away over towards that B bomb site. RTA, he does have some reinforcements in Nodios as he goes forward. The two swift entries. How has that happened? Suddenly it's just Nodios on the site to try and prevent things forward. Link in the 1 versus 3. What is that? A clean headshot. Time ticking down low, though. He needs to find isolated engagements, and he'll be given the opportunities. Ex-Fragsters separating in the 2 versus 1. Ange on the flank. Goldsmith posted with the AWP, but he's trained on the angle where Link attempts to reposition. And Ange will secure the defuse.
Bomb has been defused. Counter-terrorists win.
4-5. The economy for London not in the best of shapes. Will likely be the half-buy that we are seeing. CZs, a couple of Deagles, and a series of smokes, actually. Given the fact that they've actually invested in these 5 smokes, I wouldn't be too surprised if we ended up seeing an execution and then just waiting after the fact. Waiting for the response nades to come through, and then they'll re-exec on that A bomb site. Is precisely what we will see. Nades were thrown over. See the coverage available on the bomb site for a few response nades, but I think Fragsters are beginning to move away from the site. Just left Ange to lock things down. You have 2 players in towards the connector. Is available, but Ange gets caught with a smoke out. Just as he deploys it, Goldsmith will at least answer in kind with the AWP, but they've gotten the bomb plant down. That was the main objective of this round. But they may just be able to steal something further from this. The AK recovered as well, and they've gone into decent enough post plants. Rodeos, that nade does so much to Adam. Lands straight on his toes. Great. Molotov out of position. Delivers on a headshot. Torben answers back on towards Link. Adam still in towards CT. They don't check him. Messi as well as found a kill. Goldsmith and push back. London Esports, they've taken away and stolen this round from Fragsters.
Terrorists win.
I suppose if each team is going to win a round like that, it at least has to be fair. And certainly had to do a lot more, I think, on the bomb site. The fact that he gets caught while switching back to his gun after deploying the smoke made things incredibly difficult for Fragsters. There was nobody else to support him in the immediate vicinity, and it meant that London could just get away with absolute murder. The AWP is at least still in the hands of Goldsmith. He was able to save that from the previous round. There are a series of kits as well, but I think the lack of utility may play forward in the round. They needed that pick there from Goldsmith. Opening up the affair and bringing a man advantage their way. RTA to deliver as well as they progress on towards that A site. There's a second player under valve. The bait and switch. Link is able to spin around in time, but there is the fast rotation available from Torben, as well as Nodius. The bomb will get dialed in, but there's no smokes to try and prevent and eliminate these angles. Allow Link to reposition. He is completely trapped towards triple, and that will likely mean his demise. First kill is there. The second actually delivered. Torben can't line up the trade. It's Nodios now in the one-on-one as he delivers the finishing blow on towards Link. A kit available and a Molotov as well. If he throws that towards Palace, Mezzi's in for a world of hurt, but he changes his mind at the last second. He's gone away from it. Now he needs to stick to the fuse, and Mezzi, oh, he'll spring in. He had a moment's hesitation, and that could have been a difference maker. If the Molotov had gone over towards Palace, that could have likely been the round, but a lapse in judgment. London Esports now up to round number 7. Certainly seen some clutch performances by some of the individuals here from London. But some of the players on the side of Fragsters still to be feared and revered. Torben show exactly that. The Deagles are here in heavy numbers here for the CT side. If London give them opportunities, they'll certainly be able to capitalize. RTA as well takes down Adam. And a kill on towards the A and the B bomb site. London have not been able to compensate and make up ground elsewhere. Clearly not. Surely this isn't another anti-eco that goes astray. Torben will finally push through in towards ramp and recover that AK that he so rightfully earned. Timing here. There it is. He takes down Nodios. They can now successfully split this B bomb site. These players on the site, only a Deagle and the SMG. Link will get another kill. Ange spotted on the rotation, trying to be a nuisance. RTA still has gone unchecked. It's now Link in a 1 versus 2. He delivered before, but he tries to and attempts to reload at an inopportune time. He gets flanked in the end. And the rifle comes back to bite them. London, the anti-ecos, once again, is getting picked apart by the Deagles of Fragsters. Or Ex-Fragsters. I suppose it's more apt. I think the issue for London is that because they had won the previous round, and because they weren't too sure about what type of money Fragsters might have been bringing forward, I think there's at least the benefit of the doubt that you can give to IGLs, especially at this level, where you might just lose track for a moment. They set themselves up in a pretty aggressive default, and they just weren't able to get any trades after the fact. Ex-Fragsters hit the shots they needed to, and I think as well the call from Adam to go out of the B apartments so rapidly after such a long lapse in play have cost them. London, though, they're just trying to barrel on towards the same side. Ange, he's just getting all the kills. A fourth maybe on the cards. Or, sorry, a fifth was just on the horizon, but Torben eventually steals it away from him. That could have been the ace as Ange completely locks London out of that A bomb site. It attempted a fast A play based off of the execution, but just couldn't eliminate that under balk position. Now just Glocks. I think we'll skyrocket over. That's quite damage on the Torben. Eventually he's eliminated. Ange will be number on 2. Nodia's there to support, and just the 1 kill found for London. Now the last round of the half. No AWPs on the field for London Esports. They will compensate by picking up the Krieg or the SG. If Adam can have the same level of impact as those scope weapons. Torben into the window will deploy a grenade in response. He does actually win that opening engagement. Torben was the player to lock down and hold down the middle, prevent the splits, but since he's gone, Goldsmitten will get aggressive, and Mezzi is waiting for that response. That's the AWPer dropped as well from Fragsters. It's now 1 player towards each of the respective bomb sites. For a second there, I thought Cray might have somehow found himself inside of ladder, but Ange will instead find himself dead. 2 players are all that remain for the Fragsters defense, the closest of which is Nodios. And going for the spam through, it does receive a lot of spam back. He'll come out worser for the affair. RTA, the flash from his teammate to try and clear out CT. He's eliminated. Nodios surely soon to follow. A 1 versus 5. Too tall a task, surely. Soon to be able to convert. He answers with 1, but immediately traded back. London will secure the lead going into the second half. So far, this game has certainly delivered its fair share of questionable decisions, as well as high-impact individual plays. Had a number of very interesting affairs in terms of how these clutch situations have played out. Usually quite a large space of time between when somebody's in a sort of 1vx situation and performing, picking apart the defenses. They have relied on some of the individuals to pull through those rounds on the side of London. Not many clean engagements, and I think if Fragsters hadn't won a couple of these anti-eco rounds, where they'd only sort of half invested or only had a series of upgraded pistols, this scoreline could have been much more blown out in London's favor. But you need to be able to win the easy rounds as well as the hard rounds. And it seemed like they struggled against what on paper should be the easier round. We'll have to see how they set themselves up on the CT side. I imagine if they win this pistol, they'll be absolutely loving life. Razor may actually not fully invest. Is it something I think I've seen him do previously? I don't know that I've seen it in the advanced season. or in these MDL relegation games, but Reza actually buys nothing. I don't know if that's a mistake or he's anticipating needing the cash for the AWP. Either way, he will spot out the players from Fragsters, and they're immediately splitting on towards the safe bomb site. Falling back, that's the call from Cray, because he realizes how dangerous those encroaching players are, but Goldsmedan has completely shut out the rotation on short. Now they need to rely on this push in towards CT to get this retake going. The flash will come through from Mezzi. 2 players there from Ex-Fragsters, the first eliminated. Goldsmedan, though, on the flank does eliminate the first few. It's now just Mezzi. Kit recovered, and a smoke as well. Could potentially go for this, but so many angles to clear. The cross was spotted as well by Nodios. The Ex-Fragsters winning the second pistol as well. That is them being 2 for 2 so far in this matchup. And I don't understand the buy from Fraser at all. They forced back into this round, but if that was going to be the play that you were going to make, then why don't you invest in the pistol? That must have surely been either a misbuy or forgetting to buy. Adam at least finishes off the kill that Fraser set up for himself. Adam will as well recover the scout. London will concede mid-control to Ex-Fragsters for now. Link is still kind of lingering by the ladder room, hoping that he might be given easier enough engagement. Little Jiggle peeking the angle. RTA will completely lock him in. There's no escape for Link here, really. Imagine Nade may be committed to his position as well. The smoke will at least buy him some time. Give him a chance to have escaped from that position. So Ex-Fragsters will not pursue much further. The first player dealt with in Crate. Adam's still here with the scout, but that box is oh so thin. If you get tagged through the side of it, you're just completely gone from the round. Doesn't even need to be as such. As Mezzi. In an almost unwinnable situation. The aim punch a huge factor in these types of engagements, and Nodios eliminates him. Ex-Fragsters now just 1 shy of getting to double digits. London Esports forced to save. Seems as though they're setting themselves up for a bit of a window play. Adam will prime the flash. They will get themselves into position. Waiting to take first contact. Bring in just before then. The flash is good as well to get that first kill. Great pushing forward. They're taking down these London players, but the idea was certainly there. The damage was certainly there. There's not quite as many kills as could have been presented, given how sort of unprepared Ex-Fragsters were for a play like that. See, Goldsmedan was about to clear things out, but the flash timing was perfect from Adam. A gimmicky round, but we'll see how they fare in their first gun round. Fraser on the AWP, Orgs are out. Certainly got some utility to boost. Cray will get aggressive in towards ramp, spotting out that first player. Fraser just narrowly evading death, but Link will instead take down his competition. Fragsters hungry for some sort of a response. They're looking for an opening back into this. Razor on the other side of that Molotov may just present himself up as a sacrifice. Still playing things out passively, knowing that Ex-Fragsters could have compromised that ladder position as well as boosted into window before he was able to get there. Not likely that the boost of window would have come through, given that the Molotov was down, but it is still a possibility. Ex-Fragsters are pulling the trigger, however, towards this B-side split. The first player eliminated is Link. The second almost delivered, but Ange progressing up further and further on towards the site. Does he fully clear this back pillar where Mezzi is waiting for the bomb to be clicked in? Eventually, Ange is dealt with. It's now RTA. 1 versus three. He's given the opportunity to find that first frag, but Adam hits the headshot before he does. And London are right on the tails here of Ex-Fragsters. One more round is all that's needed to tie things up in the very first map of the series. Of course, the full buy will come out again from Ex-Fragsters. Torben, a little bit hesitant, but he should be able to buy up. But I think what's interesting is that we've actually seen quite a lot of mid control from both these teams. Of course, that is fairly standard at this level. I think there's been a few opportunities in which Ex-Fragsters could have maybe exploited a lack of extremities control from the side of London Esports, but that primarily means sort of the B apartments and A Palace. I think with Ex-Fragsters not really setting up in those defaults as much, they're tunneling themselves into a position where they could potentially lose out on some opportunities. Of course, it is still early days for their T side. Only 4 rounds elapsed. Kind of reading into it a little bit too much. But... ah, 'tis the Thomas lad. LFT, by the way. London Esports. We'll see if they're able to continue and string rounds together on this CT side. Certainly made things work despite Fragsters getting out towards the site. They're able to hold that man advantage and hold on to good positions. Fraser will deliver the first kill on towards RTA. It's a fast play from Fragsters, and they hadn't waited for the utility to come in, hoping that that might catch London out and off guard, but the boost is perfect as well above the smoke. Nodios unsuspecting. And a 3 versus 5, where these smokes are beginning to fade momentarily. No more utility available here for Fragsters. They need someone to deliver on huge kills. Torben may be the one to catalyze the round for Fragsters. Still a player on the site. Goldsmedan is getting left high and dry, eventually taken down. It's Torben. That's all that was left. But Cray and Adam sweep things up. The fuse comes through, and London have successfully tied up the game. So I'm wondering if there's an issue with the Twitch server that I'm connected to, because I've now had another set of dropped frames, which is obviously not ideal. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Definitely torrenting something without my knowledge. Or it's probably something like a Razer update. Who knows? There's all sorts of things that could be a factor in my internet, but hopefully it stabilizes. Hopefully we're able to deliver the whole best of 3. Ex-Fragsters, not much deliverance in this round. Upgraded pistols. They're gonna try and just stampede their way out onto this A site and get the bomb planted. That is the primary goal. They want that cash available for when they do invest into proper weaponry. And London will concede as much. Ex-Fragsters take deep CT control. Adam just gifting them the opportunity, really didn't want to present a chance for them to recover a weapon. And the crucial play will be in towards the spawn. These 3 players need to be eliminated from Fragsters. London want a way back into the round. Fraser gets the first 2. Can't get the third. And able to trade things back. Link. Ooh, the spray transfer as well. Anticipating that Goldsmedan would go for the trade straight through the smoke. And although things do get a little bit dicey, ultimately keeping 3 players alive for London. A nice benefit for them. Of course, the goal was accomplished for Fragsters. They dealt some damage. They got some money. That will mean that they can afford every bell and whistle coming into round number 22. Big control nades thrown by Ex-Fragsters. They actually don't commit forward off the back of it. That's still holding back and waiting for some sort of a different approach here from London Esports' CT side. Of course, they haven't gone for any of these sort of top mid pushes that we do often see. RTA, not quite the flash he was hoping for. Can't fully clear out the underpasses as a result of that, but I imagine after the whiff flash, there was a player there. They would have sprung into action. So RTA is comfortable leaving that alone for a moment, instead of locking down the B apartments. Actually gonna go for the run boost, hoping that that might allow Goldsmith the space and opportunity to find an opening pick. Of course, there was nobody peering in towards middle from the side of London Esports. Good to know that that's a trick that Ex-Fragsters may have up their sleeve. I think the problem for Ex-Fragsters is that time is running low and they've not really established too much control outside of middle. They need to progress on towards one of these sites rather swiftly, and I imagine it will be on towards A. They have a player lurking in towards Palace, but Adam gets the first. Cray as well will lock out the connector. Identifying Nodios is probably going to be in towards Palace, but he can do nothing to stop him. Mezzi does drop the bomb, however, and he's critical in the round. Fraser pushed back from the flames. I don't think Nodios has enough time. Surely not. That's just the round conceded for Fragsters. They lose by default.
Counter-terrorists win.
And London take a 12th. Bit of questionable decision-making there from Fragsters, as I think they found themselves in a position where they didn't have any time available, and that the round had somewhat escaped them. If they do get to that 2v1 situation, it just wasn't quite enough to bring them to a situation where they could actually win the round. Fraser with the opening duel in towards middle. No immediate trade from Fragsters. Adam is still lingering in this connector behind that smoke. Does make a sound cue. I thought for sure, based off of that, Goldsmith would answer in kind, but instead he holds his own. RTA already did a whole lot of damage for his troubles. Finally, the response there from Fragsters is they only have 3 players remaining. Messi is up close and personal. He drops the bomb, and that's a huge problem for them. He gets the follow-up kill as well. Goldsmith, the 1 versus 4. The bomb dropped on short. He needs to find these picks swiftly, because London are rotating in heavy presence. Adam will spring through, even around the flames, and Fragsters on the back foot, and likely a half buy. It hasn't been the cleanest of sets of Counter-Strike. And London, they're only showing decent display here on the CT side. I think their T side more favorable. Fragsters haven't really been able to exploit any particular player just yet. They will stampede on towards B, trying to beat the flames, trying to beat all the nades coming through, but they're here in numbers on the side of London. There was a 3rd player available. Link will eventually dispatch of Torben. He does get tagged down, but now he has reinforcements. The flank is ensuing. Cray as well. It's now just Goldsmith up in hand, but he just tags Adam through the wall. Had the opportunity, would have been burned away by the flames, but would have made things so much more doable. A couple of unfortunate tags, really, by Ex-Fragsters on that AWP, but London only now 2 shy from crossing the finishing line, at least on map number 1. spring in past the smoke. Corbin dropped. Ange will respond on Link. The bomb is still dropped top middle, so Fragsters will need to go back and recover that. Showing a tendency and a strong desire as well to take these fights, but Mezzy, straight through the smoke, he just lines it up with the use of the bricks, and they never stood a chance. Cray as well finds a kill onto Nodios. It's now just RTA. And he won't even be given an opportunity. London are touching distance from taking map 1. That is... I mean, that's just ridiculous. The fact that Messi is pushed an advantage in that manner. Doesn't even see the player, just channels his inner instincts. 4 AKs for Fragsters and a Deagle to try and make this work. They go for the A execution, but Fraser! A fast flick down! Posted on Palace, it's just not enough to prevent Fragsters from taking the bomb site. It will get planted in the end, and Link getting flanked out as well. Messi at least brings things closer. Fraser as well. They're gonna commit for this. They have enough money to afford a buy in the next round. Fraser with still a lot of utility. Messi as well. A Molotov and a smoke, as well as a series of flashbangs that they can use to try and isolate and push out these Ex-Fragsters players. But with Messi eliminated, Fraser has a lot to do. He can't deliver. And Fragsters stay alive a little bit longer on map number 1. What a flick from Fraser, man. And they still lost the bomb site. I thought for sure that would have been... I mean, you can hit a ridiculous shot, I suppose, but if you can't follow it up with more kills or at least good positioning, then you shouldn't be counting your chickens before they hatch. Fragsters, however, will need to be able to string 4 more together to force an OT on the first map. London have at least secured that fact. They just need to exploit one more mistake. One lapse in judgment, or have one player make an outstanding play. Fragsters once again will set themselves up for an A-side split. This time they've got Ange in towards window, and he's going to be an X-Factor. Adam caught on the rotation is Messi as well. 2 swift kills, and Ange holds all the cards. They found an exploitable hole, it seems. Fragsters moving towards that A site back to back, and London can do nothing to stop them. The call will be to save on the side of Link and Fraser. This time, not quite the situation that they were in previously, where they had reserve cash available. They can get these rifles into the next round. There may be an opportunity for Fraser or Link, respectively, have some outside impact. At least outside of what Ex-Fragsters may anticipate. So they've certainly been able to string some rounds together. They've done it in a way in which they tried to go for some of these faster plays in towards middle, tried lingering in middle as well for London to go for some sort of information, but now it seems like these A-side hits have been a crux that London Esports will need to make some adaptations for sure moving forward. Couple of vote shops exchange. Fraser and Goldsmedden. Let's tag each other down. Adam did already receive a shot to the leg. Those adventuring days are over. Man advantage held by Ex-Fragsters. The 2 weapons that were saved in the previous round are still on the board and very much could still be a factor in this round. Link anchoring that B bomb site. Fraser will actually move in to reinforce. Well, just a minute remaining. So with that Molotov being deployed, Fragsters will be happy to wait it out, but they need to be careful. Adam is pursuit in the back. Oh, he made a step. Corbin, he didn't hear him. Oh, they pulled the trigger just a little bit too early. That actually might prevent Fragsters from pushing too much faster. We'll try and deal with that player in the backlines. Link will do his best to lock things down. The first there, the second as well. They've got the man advantage for now. The bomb dropped in the 30 seconds remaining. They're waiting and waiting and waiting, just trying to prevent and delay Ex-Fragsters from getting much more ground on the site. Mezzi as well will deliver on a kill. It's now just Gold's Medon. 1 versus 3. Link may have just done enough to secure them the round. He's eliminated. And London will take map number 1.